Confidence is non-negotiable. It's the foundation of how the world perceives you. You don't even have to say a word. People can feel it the moment you walk into a room. Weakness isn't just about how strong you are physically. It's in your posture, your tone, your movements, and the way you carry yourself. When you lack confidence, it radiates off you, and people can sense it instantly. Men especially have a natural ability to detect it. And they may not even be consciously aware, but they will treat you differently, they will challenge you, dismiss you, or simply not respect you. That's just how it is. The world does not reward weakness. The moment you hesitate, the moment you show uncertainty, you give others the opportunity to dominate you. It's in the small things: avoiding eye contact, speaking too softly, slouching, second-guessing yourself. Every time you do this, you send a message that you are not someone to be taken seriously. The strong recognize this immediately. They know who has power and who doesn't. They can sense who will stand firm and who will fold under pressure. And if you look weak, you will be treated accordingly. You might think confidence is something you're either born with or not, but that's a lie. Confidence is built through action. It's built through challenges, through discipline, through the willingness to step into uncomfortable situations and prove to yourself that you can handle them. The problem is that most men wait to feel confident before they act. They think one day they'll wake up and just have it. That's not how it works. You don't wait for confidence, you create it. You force yourself to stand tall, to look people in the eye, to speak with certainty, even when you don't feel like it. The more you do this, the more natural it becomes, and eventually, it's not something you have to think about. It's just who you are. The mistake weak men make is thinking that avoiding confrontation, staying silent, or always agreeing with others will earn them respect. It won't. It does the opposite. People respect those who can stand their ground. People follow those who exude strength, who have an unshakable belief in themselves. And belief doesn't come from wishing, it comes from action. It comes from proving to yourself day after day that you are capable, that you can push through difficulty, that you can speak and be heard. Every time you hesitate, every time you avoid a challenge, you reinforce the idea that you are not enough. You train yourself to accept weakness as your identity. That's why you have to break the cycle. You have to take action despite fear. You have to build yourself up so that when you walk into a room, your presence is felt. People can sense confidence just as easily as they sense weakness. The difference is confidence demands respect. Confidence makes people listen and makes people take you seriously. Your body language, your voice, your decisions, all of it matters. Stop looking weak. Stop hesitating. Stop waiting for permission to be strong. Strength is not something you are given, it's something you take. Weakness isn't just something others see, it's something they feel. Your energy, your presence, and the way you carry yourself send signals to the people around you. Men, especially, have a natural ability to pick up on those signals. They can sense when another man is unsure of himself, when he lacks belief in his own words, when he's uncomfortable in his own skin. It's not about what you say, it's about how you say it. It's about the way you walk, the way you look people in the eye, and the way you react under pressure. You can't fake it for long. If you aren't solid within, the cracks will show. In every interaction, there's an exchange of power. Whether you're speaking to a friend, a colleague, or a stranger, there's always an underlying dynamic at play. If you hesitate, if you shrink back, if you allow self-doubt to creep in, the other person will sense it immediately. Strong men can feel weakness in others without even thinking about it. It's instinct. The moment they recognize it, they adjust their behavior accordingly. They either disregard you, dominate the interaction, or simply lose respect for you. That's why you'll notice that weak men often get interrupted, ignored, or treated as if their presence doesn't matter. It's not a coincidence, it's a direct response to the energy they project. The truth is, you can't hide from this. You can try to act tough, try to puff up your chest, try to sound aggressive, but if that strength isn't real, it won't hold. People see through the act. Real confidence, real power comes from deep internal certainty. It's not just about looking strong, it's about being strong. You can't fake that. You have to earn it. You have to put in the work. Build yourself up and prove to yourself over and over again that you are capable. Only then will others believe it too. The way to build that strength is to stop seeking validation. Weak men crave approval. They try too hard to be liked, to be accepted, to be seen as agreeable. They say what they think others want to hear instead of speaking their truth. They hold back their opinions out of fear of judgment. And every time they do, they reinforce their own weakness. They make it clear to the world that they do not stand for anything. That kind of man is easy to ignore. He blends into the background. He has no presence. Strong men, on the other hand, do not seek approval. They do not need validation because they already know their worth. When they speak, they do so with certainty. When they move, they do so with purpose. They are not easily shaken because they have built themselves into something unbreakable. And because of that, other men respect them. They recognize strength because they know how rare it is. If you don't want to be seen as weak, if you don't want to be dismissed, ignored, or dominated, then you need to fix this now. Stop hesitating. Stop looking for permission. Stop second-guessing yourself. Every moment you waste worrying about what others think is a moment you reinforce weakness. The only way out is to take action. Train your mind, train your body, train your voice. Become the kind of man who others instinctively respect, not because you demand it, but because you embody it. Strength isn't something you talk about. It's something you prove. Your energy speaks before you do. You don't have to say a word. People can already feel who you are by the way you move, the way you stand, the way you look at them. Weak men don't realize this. They think they can hide their insecurity behind words, behind fake confidence, behind forced toughness, but you can't fool people, especially men who have built themselves up. They can see right through it. They can sense when someone is unsure, when someone is uncomfortable in their own skin, when someone is afraid to take up space. You don't have to tell them. They just know. Everything about you is signaling something, whether you're aware of it or not. Your posture, your handshake, your eye contact, even the way you react when someone speaks to you. It all gives away what's inside. Weakness isn't just in words, it's in hesitation. It's in the slight flinch when someone challenges you. It's in the nervous laughter, the way you avoid direct confrontation, the way you let others interrupt you without pushing back. Every little moment like that adds up. Every time you let someone step over you, they recognize it even if you think they don't. You've probably felt this before. You've been around a man who commanded respect without even trying. He didn't have to raise his voice. He didn't have to prove anything. He just existed in a way that made people pay attention. That's because real confidence, real strength, isn't about acting a certain way. It's about being that way. When you've built yourself up, when you've proven to yourself that you are capable, it shows. You don't need approval. You don't need to convince people. They feel it. Most men make the mistake of thinking they need to act tough to earn respect. They try to sound more aggressive. They try to look mean. They try to use big words to impress people. But all of that is empty if it's not backed by something real. Strength isn't in pretending. Strength is in certainty. It's in knowing exactly who you are and not needing anyone else to validate it. And that certainty only comes from experience, from pushing through challenges, from proving to yourself over and over again that you can handle pressure, that you don't break, that you don't back down when things get tough. If you constantly find yourself worrying about how others perceive you, if you find yourself hesitating before speaking, if you shrink in the presence of stronger men, then you have work to do. Because no amount of acting can cover up the truth. If you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. And that's exactly why men can sense weakness so easily. Because it's not about words, it's about the energy you put out. You don't have to announce that you're strong. You don't have to demand respect. If you truly have it, it will be recognized naturally. So stop focusing on how you look to others and start focusing on who you actually are. Strength is built in private long before it's recognized in public. It's built in the discipline you keep when no one is watching, in the way you handle setbacks, and the way you refuse to fold under pressure. If you want to be respected, if you want to be taken seriously, then there's only one way. Build yourself into a man that no one can ignore, and when you do that, you won't have to prove anything, because everyone will already know. Strength is not given, it is taken. No one is going to hand you power, respect, or influence. If you wait for permission to be strong, you will stay weak forever. The world doesn't reward hesitation. It doesn't care about your excuses, your insecurities, or your doubts. It only respects action. And every second you spend questioning yourself is a second where someone else is taking what could have been yours. The difference between weak men and strong men is simple. Weak men hesitate, strong men move. Weak men overthink, strong men act. Weak men wait for the perfect moment. Strong men create the moment. If you walk through life looking for approval, waiting for someone to tell you it's okay to take charge, you will always be at the mercy of those who don't hesitate. That's why weak men are always following, always reacting, always looking for guidance instead of being the one who provides it. Hesitation is a silent killer. You might think no one notices it, but they do. Men can sense when another man is unsure of himself. They can feel it in the way you speak, in the way you move, in the way you respond to challenges. The moment you hesitate, you give them the upper hand. The moment you doubt yourself, you give them control. And once that happens, you are no longer leading your own life. You are simply existing in someone else's world. There are no shortcuts to strength. You can't fake it. You can't trick people into believing in you when you don't even believe in yourself. The only way to become unshakable is to put in the work, to push yourself through discomfort, to take risks, to prove to yourself that you can handle pressure. Every time you step up instead of stepping back, you reinforce your own power. Every time you push through fear, you become harder to break. And the more you do it, the less you care about what others think because you no longer need their validation. Most men never reach this level because they are too afraid of failure. They think making a mistake is worse than doing nothing. But the truth is, inaction is the real failure. A man who takes a risk and fails will learn, adapt, and come back stronger. A man who never tries will stay exactly where he is, weak, unnoticed, forgotten. The world is not kind to weak men. It does not feel sorry for them. It does not make space for them. It moves on without them. If you want to stop looking weak, stop acting weak. Stop hesitating when it's time to speak. Stop looking down when it's time to make eye contact. Stop backing down when it's time to stand firm. You already know what needs to be done. You already know the areas of your life where you need to step up. The only question is whether you're going to do it or whether you're going to let another day pass making the same excuses. There is nothing stopping you except yourself. You are not lacking in potential, you are lacking in execution. And that's good news because it means the power is in your hands. The second you decide to take control, everything changes. But it has to start with action. Strength is not something you think about, it's something you prove. And once you prove it to yourself, you will never have to convince anyone else because they will already know. It does not matter how much you think about strength, confidence, or power. What matters is how you show up in the world. Weak men live in their heads, constantly wondering how others see them, constantly overanalyzing every move, constantly doubting themselves. They hesitate, they second guess, and they let their fears control them. And what they don't realize is that this hesitation, this doubt, this weakness is not invisible. Everyone can see it. Strong men don't have to say a word to know who's weak. They can feel it. It's in the way you walk, the way you carry yourself, the way you react under pressure. And the moment they sense it, they know exactly how to treat you. Weakness invites dominance. When you hesitate, when you fold under pressure, when you constantly seek approval, you are signaling to the world that you are not someone to be taken seriously. You are letting others know that you are not a leader, not a threat, not a competitor. And that is exactly why weak men get walked over, why they get ignored, why they get dismissed. It's not because people are unfair. It's because power is earned, not given. Respect is taken, not handed out. If you look weak, you will be treated as weak. That's just how the world works. The mistake many men make is thinking that if they just wait long enough, confidence will magically appear. That one day they'll wake up and suddenly feel powerful, assertive, and unshakable. But that day never comes because confidence is not something that happens to you. It's something you build through action. Through pushing yourself into difficult situations and proving that you can handle them, through doing the hard things, through stepping up when it would be easier to shrink back. Every time you choose action over hesitation, you reinforce your own strength. Every time you push through discomfort, you make yourself harder to break. It's not about being the loudest person in the room. It's not about acting like something you're not. Real strength is quiet, controlled, and undeniable. It's the way a man carries himself with certainty. It's the way he looks people in the eye without flinching. It's the way he moves through the world with purpose without needing anyone's validation. Weak men rely on external approval to feel strong. Strong men don't need it because they already know their worth. The key is to stop thinking so much and start acting. Weak men hesitate because they're trapped in their own minds, always waiting for the perfect moment, always searching for certainty before they make a move. But life doesn't work that way. Strength is built in motion, not in thought. The only way to become unshakable is to take action before you feel ready, to speak before you are completely sure, to step forward even when there is doubt. And over time, that doubt fades, not because you waited for it to go away, but because you moved despite it. You don't get to choose whether or not people will judge you. They will. The only thing you control is whether they judge you as weak or as strong. And that choice is made in how you show up every single day. If you want to be respected, if you want to be taken seriously, stop looking weak. Stop hesitating. Stop doubting yourself. Start proving through your actions that you are a man who cannot be ignored. When you do that, respect will follow, because strength is something the world recognizes without question. Strength is not just how you look, it's how you move, how you speak, how you react to pressure. Weak men think they can cover their insecurity with words, with flashy displays, with temporary confidence, but real strength is deeper than that. It's not something you put on, it's something you build from the inside out. And no matter how much you try to fake it, men who have built themselves up can see right through it. They can sense when a man is unsure of himself. They can feel when someone is seeking approval instead of owning his space. Everything about you communicates something. The way you stand, the way you shake hands, the way you hold eye contact. All of it tells a story about who you are. And the truth is, if you carry yourself like a weak man, people will treat you like one. That's why you see certain men get ignored in conversations, talked over, dismissed like they don't matter. It's not because people are being cruel. It's because they are responding to the signals that man is putting out. He is telling them through his actions that he's not a force to be reckoned with. Weakness is not just in hesitation. It's in the little moments you let slide. It's in the times you let someone talk down to you without correcting them. It's in the times you fail to stand up for yourself because you don't want to create tension. Every time you let those moments pass, you train yourself to be passive. You train yourself to accept less than what you deserve. And worst of all, you teach others that they can treat you however they want, because you won't do anything about it. You've probably noticed that strong men don't have to demand respect. They don't have to raise their voices or get aggressive to be taken seriously. That's because their presence alone commands it. They have spent years building themselves, proving to themselves that they can handle whatever comes their way. And because of that, they don't seek validation. They don't need to prove anything to anyone. People can just feel it. The reason you struggle to gain respect, the reason you feel invisible in certain situations, is because you have not yet built that presence. You have not yet proven to yourself that you are someone worth taking seriously. And until you do, the world will continue to treat you exactly as you allow it to. This is why action is the only way forward. You can't think your way into confidence. You can't talk your way into being strong. You have to go through the fire. You have to step into difficult situations, face them head on, and come out stronger. You have to push yourself past your own limits, past your own comfort, past your own hesitation. That's how presence is built. That's how confidence becomes real. Every moment is an opportunity to prove something to yourself. Every interaction is a chance to reinforce your power or to let it slip away. If you want to stop looking weak, then stop acting weak. Stop avoiding the hard conversations. Stop letting fear dictate your actions. Stop waiting for someone to give you permission to take control of your life. Men can sense weakness, but they can also sense strength. And when you finally become the man who is unshakable, who stands firm, who speaks with certainty, you won't have to ask for respect. It will already be yours.